Greetings, Redeemer Church family. We are here coming to you from the great room. Yeah. We just like to move it around.
It's a fine room. It's not that great.
It's a pretty good room.
Yeah.
We're here coming from the good room.
The decent room.
Acceptable room. All right. What do we have this week that we need to update folks on?
Women's book study. We're going to order books today. So, ladies, if you haven't signed up, sign up. And if you'd like us to order a book for you, please let us know so we can order those today.
And it looks to be a good size study.
Yeah,
lots of sign-ups. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, really good.
Great.
Guys, we are going to go with Gentle and Lowly. That's the book.
Okay. So we talked about women's study. Now we're talking about the men.
Thank you.
Listen up, men. We're talking to you now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Gentle and Lowly. We're going to start February 27th, Saturday morning.
Okay.
And we're going to go every other Saturday through May.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Good.
I think about 6 meetings from 9 a.m. to about 10:30.
Okay.
So it'll be like breakfast and books.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might need some help with that.
Probably.
Breakfast, especially.
So Amber's got a digital sign up. If you'd like to sign up, please do so. And if you'd like us to order a book for you, please let us know. And I'll probably order those books in the next week and a half or so.
So let you know within the next week and a half.
Yes.
Okay, great. And what else? We talked a little bit about children's ministry.
We talked about adult men and women.
That's right.
Now we're going to talk about
little
baby
men and little women.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, children.
We are toying with the idea of offering some kind of child care / child class here on site at Redeemer on Sunday mornings during worship.
It's just a little children's ministry sort of coming back maybe.
So we're thinking of having one class that's devoted to kind of babies through 2 years old.
Okay.
And another classroom devoted to 3 through 4. So this will be small, pretty limited. It'll be kind of first come, first serve on Sunday mornings. But if we're going to do that...
So when we say small, limited, just because mainly our space is kind of an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not sure yet how many workers it will have.
Exactly.
So we're not trying to be super elitist or selective.
No.
Your kid can come and yours can't. Not that.
But it would be something to like, you couldn't necessarily plan for sure to have your child in.
Right.
So that's kind of another issue.
And again, just with the space constraints right now is kind of the main thing. Okay.
But for that to work, we would need something like 16 volunteers in a month. And so I guess we're letting you know that we're thinking of this, but we also are asking if you are interested in that, if you're interested in serving in that area, let us know. Amber, is there some kind of sign up that you're sending along? Amber's got a digital sign up where you can let us know if you're interested in serving in that capacity on a Sunday morning.
And what's different about this time around, I mean, when we did children's ministry pre-pandemic, we would often hope that you would pick up a CD if you missed the service and go home and listen to that, audio only. And we've got a lot more available now with the live stream and with video and our YouTube channel where you can, if you're working that day, you're serving that day, I mean, theoretically you could... if your spouse is driving on the way home, you could start watching the service right then. So we hope that that's a benefit to you, and it might be a boon to people being willing to volunteer.
Like a Pat Boone?
Just a boon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
With an N.
Got it. Daniel?
All right. I think that must mean we're done.
I think so.
Good. All right. Guess who's back? We left him hanging the way that other segment stopped a second ago.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger. That's what this is.
Sylvester
Speaking of
Stallone?
cliffhangers, let's talk about the preface to the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
What do we have at the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount?
Yeah, so I've been studying the Sermon on the Mount with the teens.
Okay.
And I've been reading a lot. And the Sermon on the Mount starts with a bunch of Beatitudes. The Beatitudes.
Great.
And these Beatitudes all start with the word blessed.
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 Or two-syllable word.
Blessed.
Blessed.
Thank you.
Okay.
Blessed.
Blessed?
Blessed. And so one of the guys I'm reading, Jonathan Pennington.
Let me frame it as a question for you.
Okay.
And if someone that you read helps you answer this question, all the better.
Well,
so when it says in the Beatitudes, blessed are those who do that, who have
blessed
this.
Blessed are the poor in spirit.
Give me a few. Poor in spirit.
Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Those who are hungry and the hunger and thirst for righteousness.
Yeah. So, I look at that list of things that we're being told by Jesus are blessed, and none of them feel very blessed to me. Yeah. To be mourning, like to lose someone through COVID. I know a lot of friends who have personally lost people, parents siblings, or to be hungry. We've got someone in our church works for an organization that's trying to feed the hungry. Hunger is a terrible problem in the world.
Yeah.
What else? Meek.
Persecuted.
We don't typically think persecuted. Yeah, meek people, persecuted people. They don't seem like they're being blessed. Yeah. Does a person experiencing persecution feel blessed in the moment?
Yeah.
So what is going on there? That's my question.
Okay, what's going on?
You can go to your guy, Pennington.
Sorry, Pennington. He's been helpful.
Good.
So what he's saying,
yeah,
and maybe you can tell me if this makes sense to you.
Go.
What he's saying is, sometimes we think of blessed in the sense of like we will be blessed by God, meaning if these things happen, God will give us something kind of in return. Another way we think of blessed is kind of happy.
Big smiley face, happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy, like...
I think there's even a translation that maybe the message.
I think a lot. NIV maybe does too.
Okay.
And
happy
Carson's arguing that that's not a bad translation. He thinks happy makes sense.
Okay.
But
we have
think
to
of
enlarge happy a little bit.
Yeah, we think of happy like, I'm being persecuted and I'm smiling about it. I really enjoy it the whole time.
I like this dungeon cell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Pennington argues that, this whole blessed stuff, it has a tradition. It's coming out of the past.
Yeah.
Second Temple Judaism, even Greek stuff.
Okay.
And so what this is all about is kind of holding up kind of like an ideal life. Peter Lightheart talks about like Jesus is really saying you will experience an abundant life if these things happen to you.
Fruitful, used another word starts with the letter F.
Yeah, Pennington says flourishing.
Flourishing.
So he says the best translation would be flourishing are the poor in spirit because theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Wow.
Or flourishing is those who mourn because they will be comforted.
Great.
So what he's saying is like, hey, even though these things seem terrible, you will actually be living kind of your best life now if these things happen to you.
Right.
So Jesus is really holding up this kind of like ideal life. And he's saying, these terrible things are happening to you, you're being persecuted, but if you're persecuted for Christ, you really are flourishing because we were made to live for Christ. And so as we live for Christ, we will flourish.
This seems to like fit into this biblical theology of suffering and what it does for us.
Yeah.
And James 1, these things that are happening to you are creating in you endurance and perseverance and hope. Your sufferings cause you, going through sufferings and things that are misfortunate to you, if you allow God to work in them and through them, they can bring you to a place where you are more hopeful. You are more trusting. You are more eternal in your perspective about life. Because how easy is it to take the short-lived, simple pleasures, fleeting, I should say, simple pleasures of this life and make them sort of our ultimate. So that, I live for that Notre Dame football season and for tailgating, or I live for, my favorite restaurant or, a vacation or whatever it might be. Because you're talking in the Beatitudes of, a life that seems like none of those things are present, right?
Yeah.
Things are really difficult and tough, and yet we can still flourish.
Yeah.
And ultimately experience, we sometimes are mean to the word happy. We're down on it. It's all about joy, not happiness. So how does that tie in here to sort of the sense of happy are those? Since someone like D.A. Carson thinks that's not a bad translation.
Yeah, I think he's saying like it's happy in the sense of like you will flourish. You will really experience what God wants for you. And since God made you, he knows what's best for you. So you will kind of experience these things in the long run.
Okay.
So like if you really are persecuted for Christ, even to the point where you give up your life for Christ, you will still flourish because you've lived this life for Christ.
Yeah.
And you will also have the rest of eternity with Christ.
Okay.
So there's like word, a future element too.
So like maybe even the word fulfilled comes into my mind. You will be fulfilled. I think of the Apostle Paul. We've been reading and studying about him and his journeys, and we know from his letters that he goes to prison and he experiences a lot more hardships and eventually martyrdom. But even at his low points, I never at least get the sense that he's anything less than fulfilled. In what God has called him to be and to do and to experience. Which from the very beginning God said, I'm going to show him, remember to Ananias in Acts 8 or Acts 9, I'm going to show him how much he's going to have to suffer for my name. Yeah. Well, good. Hopefully that's helpful. A little piece out of the Beatitudes. Maybe it'll help you as you study Scripture and read passages like that. So I think that's what we're going to cover for today.
All right.
Okay. Good job.
Thanks.
All right. See you.